Welcome to the podcast, guys, with Rob and Nando. Today, we are getting into a lovely guest with great conversation. Before we get to her, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're aiming high for 100,000 subscribers. So help your boys out because we are doing what we can to help you guys out. We're trying to bridge the gap between men and women. Support your boys. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Spotify, X, Threads, Facebook. I don't think I'm missing one. And also, of course, again, YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all our social media platforms. And we just did a live for our guest that we have here. Now we're doing a few weeks later. We're here with a pre-record. So make sure you check out the live if you missed that. We talked about a lot of good things, including how men love and how women love, and also certain superficial things, along with much more. So check that out. And without further ado, we're going to have our guest introduce herself once again. So welcome again.
Hi. Hello, beautiful people. All right. I'm Catherine Rivera, owner of multiple businesses, being a business mentorship and a shared housing project under the Marcus Alexander Foundation. I'm 38, single, and Ecuadorian and Puerto Rican.
Very cool. And do we highest level of education? College. Awesome. Cool. So welcome again. And you want to drop any quick socials where people can find you and want to bring up your ebook once again?
All right, cool. IG business _health _solutions. And then the websites are www.businesshealthsolutions.com and www.marcusalexanderfoundation.org. And yes, part of my business is digital products. I used to be a host of a men empowerment podcast called Men's Health is Dope, but since have turned many of my episodes into digital ebooks for a larger global reach, to raise awareness and educate women on how to uplift the men in their lives. So one of my ebooks is called 4 Ways to Pour Into a Man. And the 4 ways are pouring into his peace, pouring into his value, pouring into his desire, and what was the last one?
Where could they find the ebook, by the way?
You got this. You can get that last one.
You don't leave the fourth one a secret. They got to go and check out the ebook to find out.
There you go. That's it. That's going to be a secret.
We'll give it all away. Where can they find the ebook? Do you have a website or is it where is it?
Well, the direct website is www.alldigitalsparks.solutions. But when they go to the Business Health Solutions site, there's a digital products tab on the website that they can click on, and it'll direct them to the ebook. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. So welcome once again. We had you on one of our episodes last year, so great to have you back. We just did a live, so now technically I would say this is the third time having you on the show. So why don't we go ahead and Rob kick it off with the next question, because we already asked some questions. So what's our next question?
Yeah. So first question. So I know, Catherine, you're also in a similar space as us, so far as dating, relationships, mental health, things like that. We live in a time where it seems like people are kind of like hesitant to trust another person, to get into a relationship. What do you think it is nowadays that makes dating so kind of seem broken?
Yeah, I mean, well, just touching on the trust aspect, trust is built over time through consistency, consistent actions, and the way you show up on a consistent basis. That's especially for men. Like, it's for a man to trust doesn't come as easy as a woman would probably trust. And also too, if you don't have trust within yourself, like as in like confidence, then you're not going to be able to offer that in a relationship or any type of connection. So that's like my first thoughts. But again, society is really focused on superficial, surface level, worldly love. And there's a disconnect when one is getting to know each other and they attach themselves to things like attention as being love, and that's not what love is. That doesn't mean that a person has feelings for you. That doesn't mean that a person wants to build with you, wants to commit to you just because they give you some attention or validation. So yeah, like mainly things are being built that way in terms of like dating and relationships.
Dating's very superficial, very transactional nowadays.
Yeah.
That's the way it
well,
seems.
the culture, yeah.
The culture around it, yeah.
Yeah.
Should relationships that are broken be fixed? Because if it's broken, then maybe it be maybe too far beyond for repair.
Yeah, when I think about broken, I think about misalignment. So y'all not aligned and should just leave it alone.
So walk away is the best thing to do for either side.
Yeah, walk away is your greatest power.
Do you think it's easy for women to walk away? Because sometimes I feel like they can't stay away. They try to get back together if it's something that they want for the most part. Usually for men, they do a great job if they walk away. So I think that's the only thing men can do is walk away from a relationship. But, I mean, what do you think? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it just goes back to the inner, if the inner work has been done. Because me, it's easy to walk away. I'm not going to question at all. Like, a red flag is a red flag. Toxicity is toxicity. Disrespect is disrespect. A spade is a spade. I'm walking the fuck away. So it's all about, like, one's inner work and self-value and self-worth. Like, you know, if you're not willing to walk away and you're willing to keep yourself like in a space that doesn't align with, you know, the best version of you, the authentic you that is in there, then you don't love yourself. You don't have confidence. You lack self-respect. You lack self-worth. So it just goes on and on and on the list. So it's just about like the inner work.
We went over this on the live, but I think it was a great topic. I'd like to get into this one more time. What society pushes versus what actually works. I think that has a lot to do with it. You want to touch on that a little bit? Like what society expects us or what paints a relationship to look like versus what actually works and it's been proven to work.
Yeah, society pushes the message that fast is love. Fast is interest. Interest, yeah. So, for example, like, and I've seen this, if he doesn't text you every single day or if he doesn't reach out every single day, then he's not interested. Bullshit. I'm calling bullshit.
Yeah.
On that one. So,
definitely.
Yeah. So everyone has their individual autonomy, which should be respected. So again, society pushes fast, fleeting, superficial, surface level things and attach it to love. They attach it to commitment. They attach it to, you know, what a meaningful relationship should look like or be like. And it's all lies. It's all lies. And then what actually works is foundation. So each person should have their own center, and I call it the inner foundation, which is accountability, discipline, self-control, restraint, you know, not needing validation, not needing likes, not living for approval, not caring about the opinions of others, being so confident so rooted within yourself that literally none of those things can can shake you. And when you operate out of your own center and you find someone else who also operates out of their own center, then you're able to come together and share that with each other, which then you build your own foundation from that. And that is sustainable because that's not going to collapse under pressure. But when you build something on fleeting, superficial, surface level things like compliments, nice words, or, you know, him or each other texting endlessly for 14 hours, that shit is going to collapse fast because the moment he can't text you for 14 hours straight,
Right.
all hell breaks loose.
Plus, you know, a busy man, assuming he has a full-time job or maybe multiple job, he's not going to have the time. And, you know, we went over this on the live. Men don't communicate interest the same way that women do. And I think this is that thing that kind of gets confused sometimes. Like, just because a man doesn't text you, call you, like your photos, like that doesn't mean he's cheating. It doesn't mean he's a narcissist or that he lost interest. That's not true at all. Just that's not what we normally do. Another thing we went over is like the words of affirmation. We don't communicate interest that way, like through words and poems and things like that. That's just
grand verbal declarations. No. You guys do not operate that way.
That's not how we naturally are.
Actions. That's what y'all do.
Correct. If a man cares about you and is genuinely interested in you, he is going to spend time with you. He's going to go out of his way to spend the night or the weekend or whatever time he has with you and just with you one-on-one. And I think that's the biggest indicator of interest. What do you think, Mando?
I mean, going to the texting part throughout the day, in general, women text more. Why do women text more? Because they have more time on their hands. There's men that are working busy throughout the day that they can't sit on their phones for certain parts of the day texting. They have things to do. They're busy. They're working. They might have high-intense, high-stress jobs that they can't even look at their phones. There's certain situations that prevent them from even being able to communicate throughout the day. Obviously, beforehand, man is going to correctly say, oh, I have to go to work. I'm going to be at work this time to this time. And sometimes you just can't text. You can't sit there and distract. It's a distraction too.
I was going to say that.
Plus, it's not that important to us. We like to text too. We like to DM too. But it's not that important to us where if you don't DM us, we think like oh, it's done. You know, red flag.
Right.
Exactly.
So
I had a girl one time text me one day and she's like, you've been quiet lately. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, well, you haven't texted me since this morning. Wow. Like, I'm at work. What am I supposed to do? Text you every fucking hour?
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't work that way. Ladies have to understand that we don't text as much as women do. Women may text more for keeping themselves busy because they don't have anything else important that they have going on at that moment in time.
I'm going to piggyback off of that. Yeah.
And I think women should really get their priorities straight. You think men are cheating when they're not texting you? No, they're busy. Mm-hmm. They're working hard to provide for you, to bring things to you, to take you out to fancy dinners, to buy you things. If you're a stay-at-home wife, mom, girlfriend, let's say, if it gets to that point where they're living together in a relationship and they're not married or anything yet, but they're in a serious relationship and she doesn't have a job, but he has a job. It's kind of like if they were married, which also I wouldn't recommend to men. Have a woman move in and just kind of feed off of you. She has to be providing something of substance.
Yeah.
And she has to be providing something. If she's not providing anything monetary, which nowadays women are boss babes, they're independent women. They like to have their own shit, their own jobs, their own everything. Then if they're not that, which is rare, then it may be a good thing because it's traditional, the way they're acting. But then they have to traditionally treat a man the way a traditional woman would treat a man. So, but you were going to piggyback on it? What were you going to jump on and say with the distractions of texting men throughout the day?
Yeah, I mean, that's for me, that's a major red flag. Like, I personally don't like that as a woman. Like, a man like just has endless time on their hands to be texting me all the time. It just shows me that you have no purpose.
Yeah, you're not busy.
And that you don't mind being distracted, in a state of distracted, which is part of the foundation, is like to have that self-control, to have that discipline, to, you know, get rid of the noise and not be in a state of distraction. Like, for me, I don't want that. You know, that's a turn off. So, but and that also speaks to, you know, the fact that, you know, she texted you and said that, you know, she doesn't operate out of herself. You, or a man, is her world, and that's a major red flag. So, you know, women who are established within themselves, done the work within themselves, have a purposeful and meaningful life, and they have things to do outside of a man, you know, definitely would not respond that way.
And you know what's funny is that 62% of women prefer texting versus 45% of men. So you know that women already like to text. It's their preference. It's easiest way to communicate for them. And for men, it's just a distraction if you just want to text all day. You don't want to have your work something serious that you have. Women want you to make $100,000 a month, or, to be fair, $100,000 a year. That's a lot of money. But how do you get that money? You got to put in time, effort, energy into what you're doing to be able to create that value, to be able to bring it home for her to be happy with what you can provide to her. But if she's distracting you, it's going to be hard to get that accomplished. And on top of that, if you don't accomplish what she's looking for and you make some average 50, 60K, and you bring that home and you aren't able to take her to more nice dinners or buy her more nice gifts or take her to some vacations, maybe instead of taking her to 4 or 5 vacations a year, you only take her to 1 or 2, then she's not going to be happy either. So either way, you can't make her happy. But the best thing the woman could do is to make sure that she's giving that man the support that he needs. And that's part of it, not distracting him. You want to sustain a relationship. You talked about sustaining a relationship. It's about trust. It's about communication. It's about take that quality time that you have together and have it together at home when he's done with work, when you're done doing what you're doing at home, or if you are both working, you both come home from work, you give yourself that quality time. If there's an issue, you go through some conflict resolution, right? You try to resolve the problem so it doesn't escalate. You don't want to go to sleep mad, right? You want to go to sleep, everybody's caring and loving for one another, and things are going well into the next day and the next day, the next day. You want to have those shared values and goals, right? If you don't have those shared goals, then one person's going to be going right, the other person's going to be going left. Shared goals, right? The woman should be supporting your goals. If she's not supporting your goals, your mission, then why is she there? She should be with somebody else. And it's up to the man to recognize that and walk away from that problem, because if she doesn't share in your goals or being a fan of what you're doing, being the number one fan of what you're doing, then she has no business being there, because all she's going to do is bring you down.
Yeah, recognizing it as early as possible is ideal.
I mean, if you want to talk about red flags, that's one of them right there. It's pretty blatant.
Oh my God, there's so many red flags.
Yeah.
Everything going back to the foundation, someone who lacks self-control, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I know the biggest tester men do is respect, right? Because respect speaks to everything else. If a woman doesn't respect you, she lacks self-control. If a woman doesn't respect you, she lacks discipline. If a woman doesn't respect you, she lacks accountability. If a woman doesn't respect you, like, it literally speaks to everything. So
It's pretty much the root
Exactly.
of all evil.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to call it that. And we didn't even get to intimacy and affection.
Mm-hmm.
If all that's going on, and on top of it, you're not intimate or affectionate to your man, he wants to give you a nice kiss on the lips, and you just kind of give him the cheek. You don't provide, sex enough. You're not intimate enough in bed. And those are big no-nos, especially, you're adding a big, ugly sandwich all together in one. If there's no trust, if there's no communication, if there's issues and there's no conflict resolution, if there's no shared values, and on top of that, you ain't blowing him, you ain't fucking him.
It's very important. It's very important for men. Why don't we even get into that? Like, what do women need to be fulfilled in a relationship versus what men need? We have different needs. We were just talking about how men and women display affection differently, and we show that we care differently. Why don't we get into that? What do men and women need to be happy in a relationship? What do you think? Or for yourself, like, what would you want from a man to consider him a long-term partner or somebody that you would be happy with?
Seems like women need a lot to be happy, but what would you say should be the basics, the main ones for women to focus on?
Yeah, I mean, for me, because
Just gonna go a little closer. Sorry.
for me, because I know my mindset is not like a common thing. It's not commonly seen, and I can't speak for all women, but like for me, I look for alignment, like in the foundation, and if we're heading in the same direction, as in the vision. So, in terms of the foundation, things I look for is, does this person have discipline? Does this person have self-control? The same things that I've been talking about. Person have restraint. Like, does this person give out free validation and free attention without like that being earned? Because if I don't have to earn you, that's gonna turn me the fuck off.
Oh, it's a good point.
You're easy.
Yeah,
So
good
that
point.
means
Good point.
You're gonna be accessible to any woman, and vice versa. Like, if I give out free attention, free validation, I'm just like talking to every guy on social media and liking, it's like, yeah, it's just that's gonna be a recipe for that's a recipe for disaster for a relationship. So the things I look for are purely foundational. Having all those, mutual respect, especially for my autonomy and vice versa. Not needing to, choosing me but not needing me. Like, like we still operate from our individuality, and come together. But my vision is high. It's a higher vision, like a fruity high. Like the way I look at it is like me and my one day husband are gonna be completing a higher assignment.
What's the end goal?
Oof.
Right? Like what? Like yeah, I get what you're trying to say. It's like for a long term relationship to work, you have to have an end goal in mind, and both you guys have to be aligned on that goal. What are you looking to do in this relationship long term? Why are we together? What are we trying to accomplish?
Right, exactly. Yeah. And then having again that inner foundation to
do it.
Be able to be successful in that relationship, be able to have a healthy relationship. So I mean, the things that I witnessed that women look for are all superficial, all fleeting. And I'm not saying like it's not nice to, have planned dates and, to be told that you're beautiful from, your husband or, your person. It is nice. But for me, it's like if I'm told those things, like I want it to flow from the foundation. It has to flow from substance for it to be meaningful to me.
Yeah.
If you're flowing from emptiness, I could care less about your compliments. I could care less if, you want to take me out on a date. That it means nothing to me because, you lack inner foundation. So there's a lot to it, but that's just my thought process. So yeah, I look, another thing that would definitely turn me off, again, speaking to like constant state of distraction. Like, are you scrolling endlessly on social media? Are you always on your phone, even when you're driving? Like, like all those things, like that would just turn me off. Like, so
I think
fast.
in general, social media and internet kind of distracts us from many things in life. See, I was watching an interview the other day about, it was like a millionaire investor. It was like one of those like street Miami interviews, and they asked him like, "What's your advice to the younger generation?" And what he said is, "Look, most of the stuff you see on the internet is fake. The apartments, the cars, people are renting Airbnbs and pretending to live there. They're renting Lambos. So people see that and they think that's reality. And then they compare themselves to that. And they're like, well, I want that too. I feel like a failure because I don't have that type of a lifestyle. And most of it's not even real." And the guy goes, to build something like that takes years. Most people don't realize, like, to become that successful, it doesn't happen in a couple of years. I think it's the same thing with relationships. People need to have patience. You have to find the right person, and it does take years to build something like that. It's not relationships nowadays are very like superficial, quick. I either get what I want or not. Bada bing, bada boom, move on to the next person. That's not how it works.
And then there's a lot of sexless marriages because the marriage was built on superficiality, surface level, fleeting things that, again, flow from emptiness. It flow from nothing.
Yeah.
When it flows from foundation, it's not going to be a sexless marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you throw in love, right? Love, if there's no respect, there is no love.
Right.
Right?
Right.
How can you say you love somebody but you don't respect them? You don't treat them well.
No.
That's just one of
Because
the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't respect someone, you lack self-control. And in order to love, you have to have self-control.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Period.
And it takes a while to build that respect. Just like at a job, it takes a while to build that reputation.
100%.
But in an instant, you make a bad decision and you can lose that reputation.
Yeah.
If you make a bad decision within a relationship, you can lose that respect immediately.
Oh, yeah.
So they both correlate in the same direction. And people need to realize that and understand that. You build the foundation, but if you do something wrong, you can knock it right down easily. So that's why it's important to build the strong foundation, because anything that tries to get in the way of it, it'll be hard for it to knock down. But if it's empty, like on the live, if you guys saw the live with the Legos that we had, you showed two great examples there.
Oh, can you do that example again for the
what?
pre-record?
Why don't you bring it up?
I thought this was a great visual. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, so this here is a demonstration of when you try to build a relationship or a marriage on superficial, fleeting, surface level things only. It's literally the outside and the decor of the house, and nothing else. And that means that when a storm passes by, it'll quickly collapse under pressure. Now here is the foundation. The strong foundation that is built on respect and accountability and discipline and self-control and restraint and and love, patience, kindness, not counting wrongs, forgiveness, so much. So this is a strong foundation, and therefore if a storm comes by, you guys have to weather a storm, y'all not gonna collapse under pressure.
Does your tattoo there say loyalty?
Yes, it does.
You can add that to the foundation as well.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Loyalty.
Yes.
So there's a lot there that
Honor.
creates
There's so much.
honor creates a strong foundation. If you have that, it's hard to break.
Yes.
But in the empty Lego set there, if you have that physical appearance, that fake physical appearance, that fake social media presence,
Yep.
that lifestyle that's fake. A lot of people portray a lifestyle they don't have,
Performance.
Oh, yeah.
performance, financial status that they don't have. Some people are really renting Lambos.
Yeah,
not,
of course.
Not owning them.
What you see on social media 9 times out of 10 is not reality.
Yeah.
If you see a 22-year-old guy in a $5,000 a month apartment in Miami with a Lambo and he's a day trader, it's most of the time it's all BS. People are just portraying that for the likes, for the views, the attention, right?
Yeah.
And
No, go for it.
And the foundation is the beams of the house. So
Yeah.
when a storm comes, what's gonna last? The decor or the beams?
The beams.
Yeah, and
Gonna hold
realistically, to make a relationship last long term, it takes, I think, discipline and it's work. I hear that all the time from married couples. Whenever you talk to somebody that's married, they're like, marriage isn't what people think it is. It's work. You have to work to make the relationship last. And I think that's the difference. Is like the superficial relationships. You're kind of
not working for
You're not
shit.
working for it. Anytime two people are willing to just give up on it because they had an argument or because they're not seeing eye to eye. Now we live in this like culture of like obviously everything's a red flag. We do videos on it too. People give up over the smallest things, and you're never going to have a lasting relationship. That's what I think is broken about dating altogether now, is that it's a very superficial world we live in. Everything is just kind of likes, views, showing off,
Validation.
validation. Yeah, so.
Yeah, exactly. And that doesn't get you anywhere. All that fake, all that emptiness, it doesn't get you anywhere. Yeah, you may have some fun for a night. You may go out, have a great time. Shoot down some drinks, maybe go out. Girl goes on a boat, on a yacht, meets a guy. They have a great time, but they try to make something out of nothing. One of them tries to get a relationship out of a one-night stand.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work that way. You have to really build together on a deeper level, not just some
And over time. So it requires patience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think people are seeing an unrealistic painting of what a relationship is supposed to look like. And everybody's trying to like chase perfection, and they think they're settling because they're not getting exactly what they want, and that's just not reality. I hear it all the time. I'm not settling. Nobody wants to settle, obviously. But I think for most people, you're not really settling. You're just maybe getting the person that's more in line for you. I know I'm not going to end up with a supermodel, right? That would be delusional of me to say that. Like, I'm going to wait. I know my worth, like that. You got to be real with yourself.
And when people try to find perfect, there is no perfect. No. You're not perfect. The other person isn't perfect. What I don't like is when people, especially these ladies, say, "Oh, you're a 10." You're not a fucking 10 because nobody's perfect. Everybody has issues, and most of the beautiful women, they wear makeup to show that they're beautiful. Why don't they not wear makeup and show their natural beauty? You wouldn't be quote unquote perfect if you had to wear makeup, right? So you're wearing makeup to show to portray something that you're really not. You're not perfect. Doesn't make sense. A lot of people have that mentality and it's just not working out for them. It's really just a spiral out of control type thing. And then you just take that and bring it on to someone else. It's just, you have to, as you said, work within and figure out what's true about you and have that shine a light on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I think of not settling, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's the world version of not settling on superficial, surface level things. Oh, I'm not gonna settle for a man who ain't gonna, wine and dine me,
Right.
3 times a week, whatever, even once a week, and take me to like 5-star Michelin restaurants and spend $300+ on me. I'm not gonna settle. And then there's the other settle where, for example, like with me, like I cannot be with someone who has a negative mindset, who cannot think positive. That's just one thing, right? So I'm not going to settle for someone who has a victim mentality, who is woe is me, everything always goes bad for me, like type of mentality. Like, oh, nothing ever good comes out of anything. Like, I'm not going to settle for that.
Yeah, that's a good one. Look, positivity is like, what's it saying? Like addictive, and so is negativity, right? So yeah, people that are always negative. That's another very good one. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I think about when I think about something. And then when I think about someone not being perfect, right? I feel like we gotta tread lightly. Yes, no one is perfect. That's absolutely true. But it's just some people use that as an excuse to treat you a certain way.
Yeah.
So for example, if you allow yourself, if you choose not to walk away when someone disrespects you, like, if you guys express interest to each other and you guys are trying to build a connection, and then they disrespect you, verbally, and you don't walk away, then that tells them that you tolerate that.
Correct.
And they'll be like, oh, well, I was just having a bad day, I'm not perfect.
No.
Okay, we all have bad days that not everybody's going around disrespecting each other is what I'm saying. So it's just like, you got to be kind of cautious with that, because the imperfections, like when I think about it, it's not red flags.
No, that's a legitimate thing.
Being disrespectful. Yeah, while you're not perfect. Yeah, clearly you got to go do your inner work, do your inner work so that way you don't spew disrespect to people. But, you just got to tread lightly with that. Like, what actually is imperfection and what just is somebody that needs to go do some inner work.
Yeah. I think that's a line that everybody has to draw, because when somebody disrespects you, that's a decision they made. There is no valid reason for it. It doesn't matter. They had a good day, bad day, whatever. When people disrespect you, that's a decision they're making, and like you said, they probably need to work on themselves, or they have no control, because there's no valid reason. I agree, 1,000%.
And if you allow the disrespect, that gives them the permission to walk all over you. That gives them like, okay, I can take
continue to
just lowering the bar each time. Yeah.
Yeah, I can take advantage of this guy. I can use him to get what I want and not give him what he wants. And a lot of women want that. A lot of women want to take advantage of men. They don't want to give them peace. They don't want to give them submissiveness. They don't want to be feminine. They still want to act masculine. They don't want to be intimate with them. They don't want to take care of him and support him in his goals and his future beyond. So that's one of those things that men have to recognize. If they give in to such disrespect, then they're going to be screwed. Men cannot give in to disrespect. If you give in to disrespect, you're opening a can of worms. You're letting her know that, hey, you can do whatever you like to me. I'll accept it because I'm an average guy, and I'm okay with your disrespect because I think you're the only one for me, because I don't have a chance with somebody else.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's what it comes down to.
And that's bad. That's really bad, because then you open the door to years of wasted time, wasted energy, wasted resources gone, money gone, just energy gone, because later on you'll find out that this woman completely disrespected you. She was barely intimate at all with you, if lucky, if you got lucky, but maybe not, maybe yes, maybe no. And if yes, it was like once in a while type thing. If you let that go and you don't walk away, you're making one of the biggest mistakes in your life. You could have taken that situation, that disrespect, and turned that energy into a positive. What's positive? Get in the gym. Mm-hmm. What's positive? Work on your wardrobe. Mm-hmm. What's positive? Get a fresh haircut. Mm-hmm. Work on your breath. Work on your skincare. Work on making more money. Work on your confidence. Walk around and start interacting with people. You know what the sad thing is that they didn't teach this shit at schools, right? So
no, these are just kind of those life lessons you have to learn. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to learn these life lessons by experience. If there was more, I mean, we know that there's clubs and all that, but it's not really the same. If there was specific networking events in school or clubs or even classes, there should be classes on this where how to have a relationship 101 with women, because and vice versa, women with men and women having relationships with each other, relationship 101, REL 101, because since there hasn't been any of that, that's a problem that people have grown into adulthood dealing with, and people continue to deal with on a daily basis for just about the majority, if not all, of their lives. So I think it's a huge problem. So since those type of classes and seminars, online now, webinars aren't really out there, who do you have to watch? You got to watch us. You got to watch Business Health Solutions for advice, because who else you got? So again, that's why you guys, just real quick to pause, subscribe to the channel, like the video, follow us on YouTube, follow Business Health Solutions, Solutions, not Solutions, Solutions, SOUL, and realize that we're here for you. So just click that button, click that subscribe button, support the channel, because again, we're growing. We want to help all you guys out that need it, need this advice, both men and women. You know, we're not, again, we're hard on you ladies, but here at the podcast, guys, we love ladies. We have ladies on the show. We've had already a couple dozen ladies on the show throughout, and we want to bridge the gap. We want to make sure everybody's good and happy. So, but going back to it, it would have been really nice to have some sort of class on it for just the people in general, even for ourselves. I mean, we made mistakes in our 20s. Life experiences taught us these ways that we know now. And what's sad is watching the young generation come up and they make the same mistakes when it could be prevented if they were able to build that community of women and men interacting with each other, not just some random BS in the hallway or meeting in a class and like going to lunch. A legit focus, concentration on improvement of social skills between men and women so they can improve relationships among themselves. They can understand the value of one another. And then there wouldn't be so much hate between both sexes. There wouldn't be so much of this girl power. We didn't bring it up yet at all, but feminism. You know, women get more opportunities and advantages versus men nowadays. You know, I don't see men getting on yachts for free or into VIPs at clubs for free. So there's certain things there. So we're trying to wake everybody up. That's why we want you guys to spread the word by subscribing, because it's the only way to really get this, you know, put a flashlight on it and really focus on it really well without talking about it.
Yeah, I think the generation growing up now is going to have it even tougher, because they grew up in a time where like the internet kind of pins men and women against each other. It's kind of turned into a competition. It's kind of really weird times. And like you obviously, we didn't touch on this during this episode yet, but you have in one area, you have women getting into like OnlyFans and making money that way. You have men that are addicted to porn, that are gaming, that are introverted, staying in the house. That's going to make things very interesting when it comes to them getting 18, 19, 20 years old and going out and dating for the first time. So any other topics you guys want to get into before we slowly start to wrap it up?
Yeah, anything that comes to mind, anything that really...
Anything from your ebook or anything that you've, done in the past that you'd want to get into, or any messages?
The only thing that really pops in my mind is I've seen this post going around social media so many times. It said, "Date them all, sis, and may the best man win." And for me, that doesn't align.
So let's get into that. Date them all, sis, and may the best man win. So date them all, sis, does that mean that there's women that are encouraging their friends to date multiple men? Is that really, because it seems pretty clear by the statement.
Yeah, date multiple men and see which one aligns, but I can't operate that way.
See, that's the problem nowadays, and that's the wrong way to go about it. Mm-hmm. And women know that. Women know that. That's why they say stupid statements like this. I mean, it's asinine.
Or they said have a roster and may the best man. Like I've seen different versions of it, but it all means the same thing.
It's the same meaning.
It's one of those things that like sounds good on paper, right? Like if I was a woman, it would sound good to me. Like, oh, okay, yeah, so I'll just date a bunch of men and let the best man win, and I'll just settle for him. But unfortunately, life doesn't play out that way because that best man might be the guy with the most money, but he cheats on you, right? Or maybe the best man was the guy that looks the best and he's tall, but he's abusive or something. So life isn't that black and white where you could just be like, yeah, I'm just date a bunch of women and let the best one win, right? That's not how it works, you know. Like you have to find somebody that you align with, that you get along with. And like we talked about on the live, like you're not really going to know if you guys are going to work out till you spend a certain amount of time together. You might even have to move in together, get into a couple of arguments, and then you could see. I wish it was like that, right? That's like if we said like, date a bunch of women and let the best looking one win. Doesn't work that way.
Yeah,
So, and in the meantime, you're going to rack up, you know, a body count and what were we going to say?
No, but I've witnessed like, you know, women dating multiple and like listen, do whatever aligns with you.
Right.
Like I could never. Why again going back to my vision, right? And having my one day husband. My husband's gonna be the only one I'm dating. So
Right.
I have to walk that walk now, even though I'm not married, you know? So I'm not gonna be dividing my attention and time and
course.
energy
Of course.
across all these guys, all these dates. Like, no, like me, I date with the intention to marry.
Which is great.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm not here for a fun time.
Right.
Okay, and entertainment. Like, no, higher vision, you know, devoted to things that or my presence is devoted to people that cause me to rise, whether that's my best friends or you know, an interest and a potential romantic relationship, you know. So always a higher vision. And you know, women tend to miss the mark. Like if you want a husband, you have to move like you're already a wife.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You have to move like you already have a husband if that's what your highest vision is.
See, like that message, the whole like date them all and then let the best man win. It's just a prime example of like toxic, misleading information that's thrown out on social media, and people will listen to that and take it seriously, and they live by that. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna date a bunch of people and let the best. And in the end, what ends up happening? You end up dating a bunch of people. You get even more damage. You have even more bad experiences, and in the end, you could still end up single or in a toxic relationship. So, yeah, I see a lot of stuff like that online nowadays. Yeah.
I mean, to each, listen, there's women out there that want multiple relationships. All right, kudos, good for you. But
Do your thing, yeah.
for me,
Well, according to a 2025 report by NPR, only 34% of single women are looking for a romance compared to 54% of single men. This is down from 38% in 2019. 6 years, 38% down. I mean, that's insane. That's just crazy. I mean, there's women out there that want to date to marry, such as yourself, but they have bad influences surrounding them, causing them to change their mindset and want to be hoes. Mm-hmm. They want to go and run around and date all of them. As they say, date all of them sis.
Yeah, because they're treating dating as if it's like a casino or something. Like, you know, I'm just going to play all the slot machines and then I'll win on one of them. Like, it's not how it works. I mean, it might work out for you. I know, I do know women that ended up marrying a plastic surgeon or something. But like, if you have that type of mentality towards dating, it's going to end up in you just sleeping with a bunch of men and possibly still being single or getting cheated on or ending up with an abusive man or something. I don't see how that's a good play for women. And I think it's bad advice.
Well, we've talked about this before. All women, whether it's one or many, but all women have some sort of roster. It's just what it is. Women have someone in mind that they want to have some sort of relationship with, they want to get with, they want to fuck, whatever the case is. Women have that roster. They have people in the back burner. If they have one guy, if he doesn't work out, they got the next one ready to go, right? And that's the sad thing. That's where things are, And it's just getting worse and worse and worse because there are women such as yourself that are dating to marry. There are women
With good
that
intentions. Yeah.
good intentions. They are the exception to the rule, but some of those women are being dragged out of that by their bad influence friends.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't just get like that out of nowhere. It's the bad influences that are around you that bring you to that point. Single women keep their friends single, right? That's how it works.
Yeah,
Single
there's
women-
a lot of misleading advice out there that's not coming from the right place to begin with, I would say. You were going to say something, Kevin?
I was gonna say like it's like you have to operate from your own individuality. You have to be so rooted in yourself that no one's opinions or suggestions or recommendations are
Right.
gonna steer you otherwise.
Right.
Like like me.
You
if
know what you
it
want.
doesn't align, yes. My one day husband is part of the vision. If it doesn't align with the highest vision,
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I'm not investing finances. I'm not investing in connections. I'm not investing in business partnerships. I'm not going to put time into it. I'm not going to invest anything if it doesn't align with that vision. So no one can steer me away from my vision.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people again lack, being so self-rooted
Yeah.
and where you're headed and where you're going and not steering away from that.
Yeah.
So here's the critical question. If there isn't somebody that falls into your direction of where you're going or your goals, you find somebody maybe close to it, but not quite. Are you willing to settle with them? Or are you going to be like, no, I want someone no matter what to align with my goals. I want to date to marry. Or if that doesn't happen, are you okay with being on the single end and just kind of living life out that way?
I mean, for me, settling when it comes to like the vision part would be like they're going in the complete opposite direction. They're not doing nothing like related, like not real estate or not, because part of my part of whatever I'm already doing is real estate, but the other part would be like health, helping health and fitness. Like that's also part of my vision. So it's like it's not doing all the things, great if you can, but part of it. But if I'm doing real estate and health and and speaking events or whatever and fitness and business mentorship, whatever, and person is, I don't know, in the financial district, like doesn't travel as often as I do, kind of stays in
Can't keep up.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So it stays in one place, and I'm like always traveling here and there, like like I'm already doing. No, that's not gonna work out.
Okay.
So yeah, I wouldn't consider that. I only consider it settling if they're going in the opposite direction.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you have to sit down and iron out and figure out.
Oh yeah, you gotta have all those uncomfortable, deep conversations.
Yeah.
It has to be had.
You have to be straight up with what you want, because if you're not, then don't expect them to know what you want. Don't expect them to change to what you want, and don't expect them to be mind readers. I mean, they can't automatically know what's going on.
Transparency is like...
Transparency is key. I mean, communication is everything. I think if people communicated better,
Yeah.
the whole world would go around much easier, much swifter. But because people don't know how to communicate, people are afraid to communicate. That's something that's holding them back, and they're failing at an astronomical rate with these relationships, just in general as a whole. It's you have to look in the mirror, figure out if you're doing it right, take accountability, and if you're not, then you have to go in a different direction. Take the right steps. If you are, let's say, gender roles, right? if you are a woman that is acting too masculine, yes, it's okay to work. Yes, it's okay to have your career. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're acting too harsh to a guy, you're pretty much taking the charge. You're doing everything that a guy is supposed to do, the job that a guy is supposed to do,
Right.
as far as the characteristics of how one should act towards another, with confidence, self-respect, etc., all that. Then he's the one feminine, you're the one masculine, and that type of relationship, it's like
There's no room for him to play his role in that type of a dynamic.
it's two
That's how I
negatives
see
don't
it.
come together.
Yeah, you have to be able to create that space as a woman for a man to be a man.
Yeah,
Period.
100%. You have to give him a chance to be the man in the relationship. So
Yeah, of
And
course.
it's much more, like I said, much more than money.
of course,
Because when I think about provision, like for me, I think about providing something that I don't that I don't already have, that teaches me and helps me grow and helps me rise. Like that's provision. You're providing to my wisdom. Like you teaching me something, and that's gonna help, and I'm gonna be able to apply it, and it's gonna help me grow and get closer to my vision. What?
there you go.
Oh yeah, you providing for me.
Yeah, That's adding
So that's just
value.
one aspect.
yeah,
There's so many aspects. Like it could just be like, tailor act of care, like to my health. Like, something that I want to work on, particularly in my health. And, you do research and you share something, that I should invest in, that's going to be the best for me. That's provision to me,
yeah.
so.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where, we talk about women and how they have their high standards. Men should have high standards too.
And they should be character based.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to that, date all them cis, may the best man win. Have standards. If you're a man, you got to sniff that out, right? And avoid being just one on the roster. Because if you want to take her seriously, then she better not be fucking around with other guys. I mean, that's just the way it's going to go. At least with me, when I want to be serious, that's the way it would go.
Right, exactly.
For any guy that wants to be
You
serious,
embody what you seek.
right? I mean, fun is fun. That's one thing. But if you're serious, you're going to sit down, make sure you have a serious talk with her, and if she wants to be serious in return, then hey, you got a win-win situation. But if she's not serious, then she's not the one to deal with. And it's quicker, it's better to cut your losses sooner rather than later. These people say, oh, I've been in a relationship for 5 years. 5 years, month, 2 months, whatever it is. I've been in a relationship for 10 years. I've been in a relationship for 3 years. And then something happens when you could have found out sooner, maybe within 4 months, 6, 7 months, 8 months. Talking about 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. That's a good chunk of your life. It's so men need to realize before they get stuck, sooner rather than later. Don't get married, as we always say, even though I know that's your goal. But we tell men, don't get married if that's something that we say. Don't get married in general. I don't want to change what I say, but there will be some men that do. So for those men that do, make sure that you realize that she will definitely be serious about it and not screw that up.
The saying is, hire slowly, fire quickly. You ever hear that before? Be selective with who you get involved with, who you spend your time with.
Selective.
Very selective. And you mentioned some great points about like when
Be
that
picky,
respect
shit.
is crossed, you're better off just cutting your losses then, because you're not going to fix people like that. So great episode. We went over some great topics. We went over why dating is broken, how men and women communicate and show affection differently. On the live, we went over grand gestures versus subtle actions. Go back and check out the live. We did an hour live before this. This video will be up 2 weeks prior. Any closing statements, Nando?
Actually, I'm going to throw it to Catherine. Any closing statements? Anything you want to say? Did you like the show? Did you recommend more ladies to come on and share their thoughts? What do you?
I do recommend more ladies to come on and share their thoughts.
We always have a good
Yeah,
time.
Yeah, we always have a good
but I
time.
have nothing else to add.
Cool.
Good.
For the most part,
Great conversation.
great. You want to drop your where they can find you one last time, just so we can get the people to
Yeah.
jump on in.
On IG is business_health_solutions, SOUL. And then the website, www.businesshealthsolutions.com or www.marcusalexanderfoundation.org.
Awesome. So yeah, ladies, you heard it here first. Definitely take advantage. It's an open platform, so don't complain. Come and talk about it. Let's have a discussion. Let's hear what you have to say. And we're not going to hate on you. We're just going to let you know what we think. You let us know what you think. We can always agree to disagree. But at the end of the day, one of the big points that we made on this show is that we have to communicate.
Yep.
You have to work on building that foundation. I mean, this is key. That's huge right there. So if you don't have that foundation, without a foundation, you got nothing. It just falls straight down. So make sure you guys keep everything that we said in mind. Don't forget that if you watch this episode, as Rob said, make sure you go back, watch the live. It's a few weeks back. And that's about it. Support your boys. We're aiming for 100,000 and then some. So 100,000 subscribers. Be a part of that. Help us get there. Without you, again, there is no the podcast guys without you guys and without our guests. So make sure you support us. Keep firing away, because there aren't many of us out here doing the dirty work, as we like to say. So subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all platforms. Again, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. I said it earlier, so check it out. And again, thank you to Catherine for coming out. Business Health Solutions. Follow her, support her. She's done a great job helping men all over. And again, guys, for Rob, I'm Nando, the podcast guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.